There comes a moment in the life of every football club when a single decision can define not only its immediate future, but the entire institutional philosophy for years to come. For FC Barcelona, that moment has arrived unexpectedly, disguised as a seemingly simple proposal that hides profound dilemmas about identity, ambition, and financial survival. The protagonist of this crossroads is only 21 years old, born in Catalonia, and embodies everything Barcelona has always aspired to be: pure talent forged at La Masia, with Blaugrana DNA running through his veins. His name is Fermín López, and within the next 48 hours, he must make the most important decision of his young career. The tranquility of Barcelona's summer was brutally interrupted when reports began to circulate about genuine interest from Chelsea FC. This is not empty rumor or market speculation. The Blues' approach is real, concrete, and accompanied by figures that make any sporting director stop and reflect. 50 million euros, a sum that in normal times would be easily rejected by a club of Barcelona's magnitude. But these are not normal times, and Barça is not in normal circumstances. Financial fair play looms over Camp Nou like a constant shadow, reminding everyone that the romanticism of football must coexist with the unforgiving mathematics of balance sheets. The need for revenue is no closely guarded secret. It is a reality every rival knows and exploits. When Chelsea places 50 million euros on the table for Fermín López, it is not merely making an offer for a player. It is testing Barcelona's resistance, knowing that financial pressure may tip the scales. Yet here lies the first great question of this story. Is 50 million euros truly enough? We live in an era where Premier League clubs spend similar sums on average players, footballers who would struggle to even make Barcelona's bench. Fermín López is not an ordinary player. He is a product of the world's best youth academy, carries the La Masia seal of quality, and has already shown he can shine at the highest level. The question echoing through the corridors of Camp Nou is unsettling. Are we talking about a business opportunity or a forced undervaluation? The situation grows more complex when we analyze the club's current sporting context. The recent departure of Íñigo Martínez to Al Nassr has already left a defensive gap that concerns Hans Flick. Losing another key piece of the squad, especially considering Dani Olmo's injury history, could represent a calculated risk that turns into a tactical nightmare. Barcelona now faces the dangerous risk of becoming what it never wanted to be: a selling club, a school of talent producing players for other European giants to profit from. The paradox is cruel. The money from the sale could ease the suffocating weight of financial fair play, but would there even be a real possibility of reinvestment? The very rules that are suffocating Barcelona are the same ones that might prevent those funds from being used to strengthen the squad. It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket. No matter how much water you pour in, the final result may be the same emptiness. Fermín López now finds himself at the center of this perfect storm. Until recently, his public statements made it clear he preferred to stay at the club that raised him. Wearing the Blaugrana shirt has always been his dream, and the chance to establish himself as a starter in one of the world's greatest teams seemed the natural path. But modern football rarely lets feelings dictate decisions, and the pressure from all sides may now be shifting his convictions. Chelsea, for its part, is not any destination. Under new ownership, the Blues have shown renewed ambition and virtually unlimited resources. For a young player, the prospect of higher wages, financial security, and immediate protagonism in what is considered the most competitive league in the world may be too tempting to ignore. London is calling, and its voice echoes strongly in the ears of a young man who grew up watching his beloved club struggle through challenges he never thought possible. The coming hours will be decisive not only for Fermín López, but for the philosophical future of FC Barcelona. The decision made will set a precedent. Will the club continue to prioritize its sporting project even under financial pressure, or will it accept that financial circumstances can force painful sacrifices? The clock is ticking, the phones will not stop ringing, and an entire generation of culés waits anxiously to find out whether their club will withstand yet another trial by fire or watch another son of La Masia leave in search of horizons that Barcelona itself can no longer offer.
As the football world focuses on the final hours of the transfer window, With clubs desperate to close their last signings and fans anxiously following every rumor, there is a move being orchestrated in the shadows that few have noticed, a silent operation, calculated with surgical precision, that could define the future of FC Barcelona for the years to come. This is not about a reinforcement for this season, nor a quick fix for Hansi Flick's immediate problems. It is something much bigger, an investment in tomorrow that echoes the greatest masterstrokes of Barcelona's transfer market history. The mastermind behind this strategic maneuver is Deco, the sporting director, who, since taking on the role, has shown an almost supernatural ability to identify raw diamonds before they become coveted gems across Europe. While other executives chase established names and spend fortunes on stars already at their peak, the Portuguese keeps his eyes fixed on the horizon, hunting for talents who do not yet realize their own value. His latest discovery happened on Croatian soil, but the story began much earlier, with a mistake that nearly cost Barcelona one of Europe's most promising prospects. The name in question evokes both sweet and bitter memories. Cardoso Varela, a 17-year-old Portuguese winger, was once in Barcelona's grasp. Deco tried to bring him in a year ago when the youngster was shining in FC Porto's academy. Negotiations progressed, verbal agreements were made, but legal issues prevented the deal from being finalized. That was when Dinamo Zagreb seized the opportunity and took the teenager to Croatia, leaving Barcelona empty-handed and Deco with the bitter taste of a missed opportunity. But those who know the Portuguese sporting director understand that he never forgets a true talent. For months, Deco followed Varela's adaptation to Croatian football, observing his technical and tactical evolution, analyzing every match like a scientist studying a chemical reaction. What he saw ultimately convinced him. He was looking at a future star, someone with the potential to follow in the footsteps of players whose careers were transformed through the Croatian league. The parallel that fascinates Deco the most is inevitable. Dani Olmo, the Spanish midfielder, also left young for Zagreb, developed in Croatian football, and later made the leap to become one of Barcelona's current technical leaders. Varela has everything to repeat that path, with the added advantage of already being on Barcelona's radar from an early age. The formula successfully tested with Olmo can be reapplied with the Portuguese winger, but this time Barcelona does not intend to miss the timing. Another precedent inspires Deco's strategy even further. Pedro Gonzalez, better known as Pedri, the Canary Islander, arrived at Barcelona for €5 million from Las Palmas, in a move that was initially met with skepticism by fans. Today, only a few years later, Pedri is considered one of the most promising midfielders in the world, and his market value easily surpasses the $20 million initially invested. With Varela, Deco sees potential for an even greater rise in value, possibly exceeding €25 million, in a deal that would begin with much more modest numbers. The beauty of this strategy lies not only in the player's sporting potential, but also in the circumstances favoring the negotiation. Barcelona maintains cordial relations with Dinamo Zagreb, recently strengthened by the transfer of Sergi Dominguez. This harmony between clubs could significantly accelerate the bureaucratic and diplomatic procedures needed to close the agreement. Laporta and Deco are working with absolute discretion, knowing that premature exposure could inflate the price and attract unwanted competition. The Portuguese director understands perfectly the club's current financial reality. At a time when clubs like Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City pour hundreds of millions into signings, Barcelona needs to be smarter, more strategic. It cannot compete directly for established stars, but it can get ahead in identifying future ones. That is exactly what Varela represents, a calculated bet with minimal risk and extraordinary potential return. The verbal agreement already exists for 2026, but Varela will not arrive in Barcelona immediately. The plan is for him to remain one more season in Zagreb, gaining experience, minutes on the pitch, and technical and emotional maturity. When he finally wears the Blaugrana shirt, he will be ready for the definitive leap, following the same path taken by his compatriots who shone at Camp Nou. The future Deco is building has a clear blueprint, uniting Varela with the golden generation led by Lamine Yamal, creating a young core capable of sustaining Barcelona for the next decade. While everyone debates the signings of the present, the Portuguese sporting director works silently on tomorrow, proving that sometimes the biggest masterstroke is the one no one sees coming.